If your ex early on in the relationship had an emotional breakdown where they started crying out of nowhere and you could tell something was wrong, and what they were sad about is that they felt like they weren't good enough for you and that they tend to run away from other people and that they tend to hurt other people. And maybe they even said that you'd be better off with someone else. Your ex has a dismissive avoidant attachment style, and they're somebody that's experienced emotional neglect in childhood. And their relationships tend to not go that well because they have this core wound of feeling broken. Some of the problems that tend to go hand in hand with these feelings of brokenness from emotional neglect in childhood tend to be lack of communication skills. They didn't have parents that mentored them or guided them in their youth. So they're not very good at, explaining how they feel, especially because their feelings were dismissed as a child. And they're not very good at being vulnerable. So they're not going to come to you proactively and say, hey, I need this, or hey, this is a boundary for me. Another problem is fear of commitment. Why do they fear being committed? Well, number one, they don't think they're going to live up to the job that well. They feel broken. They feel like you're better than them and that maybe you'll even leave them at one point. But they're scared to get involved because they don't think they're going to do a good job. And also, they fear their loss of independence. Individuals like this typically form a high degree of independence because they were left to their own devices as a child. So they had to almost raise themselves. And when you start getting interdependent in a relationship with somebody like this, it's like threatening their individuality because, you're taking away their rifle in battle. You're taking away their survival mechanism, which was necessary for them to survive their childhood conditions. And so everything that makes a relationship work, emotional intimacy, conflict, commitment, these are the things that scare somebody that's been, basically neglected in their youth. I mean, think about the cry it out method, right? Where you just put a baby in a room and you just never go pick it up when it cries. Eventually, the brain shuts down in that child and it says, oh, I guess outside people really aren't a resource to me. And they just kind of attune to them. They kind of wire to themselves, right? And they go about life in this, almost like they're an island. And that's what you're dealing with your ex. So as you can imagine, it can be kind of tricky to re-attract them, but you absolutely can do it. And eventually, once you re-attract them, you're going to want to use that attraction as motivation to get them into therapy where they can start to confront these fears. And if you want my help with this process, click into my profile, click this link right here, set up a call with me, and I want to hear your story, and I'm going to give you a step-by-step game plan to get your ex back.